today's show, we enter the seedy world of Saxon violins in Buzz, the music quiz.
Welcome!
A legend returns as Lara gets her sequels out.
You'll be seeing more of me soon.
And Xbox 360 prepares for liftoff.
This is about games.
Hello and welcome to Gamer TV Next Gen. I'm Sam Delaney and you can think of us as the video gaming equivalent of Wagon Train, racing tight in a defensive circle, as all around us the deadly arrows of shoddy games and corporate indifference rain down on our flimsy canvas homes. Look, I'm sorry to be honest, this metaphor's not really working for me. Here is a quiz game with pop tunes in it, and buzzers.
As most people know, the best pop music quizzes take place in the local pub, with the winners being looked upon as preening swats and the losers being showered with chicken crisps. It was with trepidation then that we approached Buzz the Music Quiz, Sony's attempt to lift the whole shebang into the gold lycra world of the primetime game show. And there is glamour here, provided mostly by the host, Buzz. He's played by, of all people, Jason Donovan, ex-soap star and wind-up pop toy.
You wouldn't be the first to tell me that. But right now, I have to say a big welcome to whoever's playing on the show. Welcome!
The unique selling point of the game is the set of buzzer controllers that come with it. Unfortunately, these toys have the effect of making the action slightly repetitive and the questions simplistic. The single-player game will see you banking accumulated points to save up for an impressive star prize. Not pictured. Multiplayer Buzz will be more complex and feature rounds where you can nominate opponents to answer questions, steal their points, or, less obviously, blow them up.
Player one, bombed.
Yeah. Each player is represented by an on-screen caricature of a known pop star. They're amusing enough, but their depiction here, plus the intro, did make us think how easy it is to produce a pop music quiz when you have absolutely no affection for the personalities in question. This is a party game, pure and simple, and as with all party games, your enjoyment relies on the quality of your friends and not the quality of the software. As it is, Buzz is silly and slick, fun but mindless. When you get back from the pub quiz and fancy a rematch, you could do a lot worse.
So Jason Donovan's out of his Technicolor Dreamcoat and he's wheedled his way into your console. But do you want him there? Do you really?
We'll give it 3 out of 5.
It's a quiz, it's about music, you can play it on your PlayStation, and it's brilliant. What more do you want to know?
Come back for another dose as soon as you're able.
As the countdown to the Xbox 360's launch approaches critical mass, the suits in Seattle have taken their next-gen console on a global tour. Their goal? To win over the hearts and minds of the gaming masses. While not on a par with most rock band stadium tours, the Xbox team have managed to build a fair degree of anticipation for the 360. The first stop on the tour bus was the Tokyo Game Show in Japan. In Japan, the current Xbox is as popular as a leper on a bus. The PlayStation outsells it by a significant margin, so this is a key market for Microsoft to crack.
When we look at the history of Xbox in its first generation here, we made some fundamental mistakes that, as a company, I think Microsoft is well known for not repeating our mistakes in the second generation.
As the Xbox bus rolls into Europe, Microsoft's head honchos lay down the gauntlet to their rivals at the XO5 event in Amsterdam.
We now have over 200 games in development for Xbox 360. This is about games, and what you're going to see tonight is going to raise the bar and really demonstrate that the new generation of gaming begins now.
They also delight the gaming public by showing off the 360's launch titles.
Dark Zero, this is point forward, I'm in.
Dark Zero, in position.
The importance of Perfect Dark Zero can't be underestimated. Developers, Rare, are gambling that Joanna Dark's long-awaited FPS return will provide the 360 with a killer app at launch.
Dad, you hurt?
On the racing front, the awesome-looking Project Gotham 3 and Need for Speed are so good looking it makes your eyes hurt. And Xbox Live support will no doubt ensure huge incentives to get your mitts on these racers. Sports fans will be well catered for, with bone-crunching Madden NFL and Tiger Woods swinging into the launch lineup. Fans of orcs, swords and shouting will also be happy with the long-delayed cameo Elements of Power, originally for Xbox, now for Xbox 360. But the best-looking launch games have to be the action titles. From Gears of War space-age combat with stunning lighting effects and animation, to super slick World War II shooter Call of Duty. Definitely a strong lineup so far, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. In the coming weeks, we'll be examining the 360's launch titles with an attention to detail that will put the CSI team to shame. Keep it locked on Gamer.
So the first shots have been fired in the next-gen console wars, but we'll have to wait until March next year to find out who emerges victorious. That's when the PlayStation 3 is released. And talking of new machines, stay tuned, because later in the series, we're going to give you the chance to win a next-generation console. How about that then?
Very little escapes us as we examine the gaming world like a ravenous vulture. Here's this week's little fleshy bits. It's the spam filter. The Austrian oak and governor of California, Arnold Schwarzenegger, is set to terminate sales of violent games to minors in his home state. The new law will attempt to force retailers to comply with the US age rating system for games, and anybody who breaks the law could face a $1,000 fine. Unscrupulous Californian retailers beware. If Arnie has his way, you might have to bid hasta la vista to your business. Video game movie mogul Uwe Boll has changed the title of his latest games adaptation to In the Name of the King, a Dungeon Siege tale. Based on the fantasy RPG series Dungeon Siege, the movie is rumoured to be around 4 hours long, and Boll may emulate Quentin Tarantino by cutting it up into 2 movies, a la Kill Bill. It's due for release next year. Sony's PSP has become the victim of a virus, and we don't mean the new handheld has a cold. Nasty internet hackers are currently spreading a virus that wrecks PSPs. The problem only occurs when gamers attempt to alter the PSP's firmware, something fans of emulated software have been trying for a while now. Once the Trojan, codenamed PSP Brick, infects the handheld, it prevents the machine from booting up, effectively forcing it to remain switched off. But as altering the firmware voids the PSP's warranty, Sony has so far taken little action. She is without doubt gaming's most iconic heroine, so you might have expected Lara to eventually bounce back from her hugely disappointing last outing, The Angel of Darkness. Sure enough, Miss Croft is busy preparing for her comeback with an all-new adventure from Eidos, Lara Croft Tomb Raider Legend. To ensure a fresh approach, Crystal Dynamics are taking over production duties from the series' previous developers, Core Design. The new recruits promise that Legend will take Lara back to her tomb raiding roots, a setting that was strangely missing from the last episode. From the few plot details that have filtered through, we know that while hot on the archaeological trail of a South American relic, Lara encounters a dangerous nemesis from her past, whom she'd wrongly assumed was long dead. She soon finds herself racing to recover one of history's most legendary artifacts. It's a good job that she'll be packing some new equipment, like this grappling hook, to help her across the perilous pitfalls. A reworked control system should also make for more user-friendly acrobatics. Judging by what we've seen so far, the lady's going to look better than ever too, with smoother animation and a greatly increased number of polygons. Guess where they put them? Here's a little teaser from the Xbox 360 version. Legends is due to land on Microsoft's platform first of all next spring, with PS2 and PC versions following soon after. Expect further impressions when we get some hands-on action. On the game, I mean.
You'll be seeing more of me soon.
That's it for part 1, but just wait till you see what we've got coming up in part 2.
Coming up after the break, the dark side of the 80s. No, not Flock of Seagulls, it's the Cold War. Xenosaga Episode 2 proves incomprehensible. See you after the break.
Welcome back to Gamer TV Next Gen. Next up, a slice of Japanese space opera with Xenosaga.
As mentioned in the briefing, this is a top secret mission. All IFF code transmitters will be switched off, and under no circumstances will you receive backup from this vessel.
Hey, say what you like, but we're not morons here at Gamer TV. We've as much respect for revered Japanese franchises as the next man. Provided, of course, that the next man is a student in Osaka. However, we're a bit frustrated with Xenosaga Episode 2. And as a result, the rest of this review will be a recipe. How to create a futuristic turn-based combat game. First, take some giant robot suits that, after 25 years, still look like menacing titanium chickens. Do your best to ignore the total annoyance of being asked to control them with the D-pad. Then add some long, rambling cutscenes that must have the following ingredients. Huge explosions. Bad guys with automatics. Heavy-handed metaphor. And yes, completely daffy made-up Japanese mysticism.
It's the Song of Nephilim. You know what it is?
Finally, stir in some arduous turn-based battles that must each last 6 days. They must have very, very pretty special moves, but only if they don't speed up the action.
Let's go.
You must have the ability to heal characters. There must be lots of neon things to break. There must be a spiteful, melodramatic boss.
I thought you were smarter than this.
And when you finally get to fight him, you must discover he has 40,000 hit points and more dirty tricks than Houdini's accountant. I'm sorry, but you get our point. This is a beautifully constructive game with gorgeous graphics, a solid plot, and genuine sense of doom. It's just that it's so generic, so traditional, that it makes us slightly angry. No doubt manga fans will love it, but the rest of us will be left scratching our heads. We give it 2 out of 5.
My head hurts, I need a lie down and a soothing cuddle, frankly.
May you rest in peace.
Ever since Paul McCartney immortalised one on the White Album, raccoons have been getting ideas above their station. Not content with nicking stuff, they're continuing to shout about it in this, the 3rd instalment of the cartoon game series. Sly III, Honour Amongst Thieves, is a fairly recognisable chip off the old block. The plot concerns Sly trying to re-establish his gang after various mishaps have either left them in wheelchairs or turned them into simpering hippies.
What happened to the Murray? The guy who'd get into a fist fight with 10 thugs wearing nothing but a towel?
I'm done with all that. I found a new path. It's full of peacefulness.
One noticeable addition is the 3D. We're not talking about polygons or anything so tedious. This is proper 3D, so beloved of the hysterical Martian-fearing teenagers of the 1950s.
Drat! My booster won't be enough to make it to that next door.
A pair of 3D glasses will be included with the pack, but we must say that the actual visual effect is underwhelming. You're watching some 3D footage right now, and if nothing leaps out at you, believe me, it doesn't change much with the glasses on. Still, it's something new in a game that relies a little too heavily on past glories. The familiar but entertaining combination of wirework, pickpocketing, bashing, and lock-picking takes up a good deal of your time. It has to be said, however, that new set pieces include an exhilarating boat chase and a section where you use your buddy Murray as a bouncing bomb. While Sly III isn't as funny as it thinks it is, it's still funny.
You look a lot better in the dark, Petra. Really, you are an ugly, ugly man.
Our favourite scene required you to follow and eavesdrop on a local mob boss who clearly has no concept of a subtle disguise.
Listen, Giovanni. This Ferris wheel was a good idea.
Graphics warrant a mention too. They are spectacularly colourful and pin-sharp, and you can almost hear the dear exhausted heart of your PS2 ticking over. Overall then, this is a neat reworking of previous games with new themes and scenes thrown into various degrees of success.
There should be more cartoon characters glamorising crime, like Dogtanian being slapped with an aspo for binge drinking. I don't know. Anyway, here's the score.
We'll give it 3 out of 5.
Good stuff from the thieving raccoon there. It's very fun, very pretty, and best of all, it's morally bankrupt.
And I'm out.
It's not easy living inside a video game, facing down danger at every turn, thwarting fiendish plots, and avoiding traps and pitfalls, plus going toe-to-toe with the most poorly adjusted psychos ever to grace the screen. In these types of environments, only the very toughest survive. Here is Gamer's pick of the 5 nails hardest characters in video games. Let's rock! At 5, Dante. Yes, he even makes the devil cry.
Here's a guy who isn't just hard and strong, he's also extremely acrobatic and flamboyant.
He looks fairly sort of dandy-ish, which is all sort of very much in context with the Devil May Cry games, but there's no doubt he's extremely hard. He's a sort of demon, basically.
Enough already! How long are you two gonna keep carrying on like this?
He's got style, he's got charisma, he can beat up anyone. He can surf around on a corpse while eating a pizza, apparently.
No talking. Good.
At 4, Master Chief from Halo. He's no angel.
He's a natural leader, the Master Chief. He's basically a one-man army. He has this sort of mad suit. He's, well, not indestructible, but virtually indestructible. And very macho with it. He's a career soldier. You wouldn't mess with him.
He's not flashy, he doesn't do anything he doesn't need to do to get the job done, you know.
We got trouble.
Basically destroy the Covenant war machine as they try and invade Earth.
Get ready, fight!
At 3, Alice. Who the hell's scared of rabbits?
Alice, the bloody raw rabbit. Certainly one of the strangest game's characters. You get a little girl who sort of transforms into sort of hideous, misshapen rabbits. I mean, rabbits are sort of shorthand for all that's sort of cute and fluffy, but Alice certainly isn't.
This isn't the kind of fluffy bunnies you've got in your back garden in a hutch. This is the kind of evil rabbit from Watership Down with myxomatosis and huge, massive claws that you have nightmares about.
Nice one. You wish.
Was I too rough?
At 2, he's sleek, silent, and solid. It's Snake.
You don't have what it takes to kill me.
Snake looks every bit the hard action hero.
I see you.
And he's got those rugged looks that, you know, just instantly set him out as a hard action hero.
He's the sort of guy who could live on nuts and berries, and he can heal himself, he can perform operations on himself even. He's exactly the sort of guy you'd want to be stranded in a jungle with. He's the ultimate sort of stealth fighter.
And at number 1, who's the daddy? Duke.
He packs vast amounts of firepower, and he's sort of very muscly, but he's actually funny with it, and something of a sort of 70s throwback, it must be said. I mean, he's the sort of guy who sort of would run around with a big chest rug and wearing a medallion, but none the worse for that.
Yeah, piece of cake.
This is the kind of guy who's out there saving the world from aliens, but he's also going to have a good laugh while he's doing it, you know, so he's always coming out with the one-liners. You know, I think my favourite is, I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum.
Damn, I'm good.
Remember, guys, play hard, be hard. Enough said. OK, now it's time for this week's competition. We've got 5 shiny new Xbox 360s to give away. To win one, simply answer this question. Who founded Microsoft? Was it A, Steve Jobs, B, Jack Tramiel, or C, Bill Gates? To enter, phone our competition hotline on 09014 900 320. Calls cost 50 pence. You must be over 18 to enter. For full terms and conditions, go to www.bravo.co.uk. Lines will close midnight, November the 1st.
But now, well, there's nothing quite like sneaking around spying on communists, is there? So it's time for a bit of old school espionage in Cold War.
Matthew Carter, the central character in Dreamcatcher's forthcoming Cold War, is a freelance journalist aiming to prove to the likes of Sam Fisher and Solid Snake that while they may have the posh franchise, they certainly don't have the monopoly when it comes to stealth. In this third-person adventure for the Xbox and PC, he'll be sent to Moscow on a routine story, but will find himself in a situation even more dangerous than just being an American in the USSR at the height of the 80s Cold War tension. Because the KGB is conspiring to take control of the Kremlin, they need a scapegoat to frame as a CIA assassin, and poor Matt fits the bill perfectly. He's quickly relieved of his possessions and thrown straight into the slammer.
Somebody obviously wanted to make it look like I wanted to kill the president. Why?
His predicament might make a great scoop, but first he's got to foil the plot and live to tell the tale. And that will take all of his sneakiness and ingenuity. Matt will have to resort to DIY skills that would make the A-Team jealous, creating and modifying equipment and weapons from what he can find. Like any self-respecting journalist, he'll also have his roving reporter's camera, but this one has been modified to display an X-ray image, which is bound to come in handy. So far, Cold War is looking very smart in the visual department, and the AI is certainly on the ball. We'll see how the finished product shapes up when review time comes around.
Who is it?
I thought I saw something.
I miss the Cold War. Don't you, Keith? Yeah, of course you do. All that impending threat of total global destruction. I'll leave you with that thought and see you next time on Gamer TV Next Gen.